I believe in America.
I believe in America. That's how The Godfather opens. A man asking for justice, asking for revenge. And what we think we're watching is a crime movie about mobsters and family business. But here's the thing. The Godfather isn't just dark because of the violence or the murders. It's dark because of what it's really showing us. A complete moral inversion. A world where traditional American values are dead, and the only truth left is power. This is not just about the mafia. It's also about something much deeper. So let's talk about why The Godfather is actually darker than you think. Right from that opening line, the film is telling us something. Amerigo Bonacera, the Undertaker, comes to Don Vito on his daughter's wedding day. He says he believed in America. He went to the police, to the courts, to the system. And what happened? The men who hurt his daughter walked free. Justice failed him. So he comes to the Godfather. Not to the law, but to a criminal. And Vito gives him what America couldn't. Real consequences. Real justice. But here's what makes this so dark. The film doesn't condemn this, it celebrates it. We're supposed to feel satisfied when Vito agrees to help. We're supposed to see him as the hero. The Godfather takes the American dream and flips it completely upside down. The legitimate world, the legal system, the government, they're corrupt, they're weak, they're useless. But the mafia delivers, the mafia protects, the mafia is real America. And that contrast runs through the entire film. Every time someone tries to do things the right way, they fail. But when they embrace the Corleone way, when they accept violence and corruption, they succeed. The darkness here isn't just that crime pays, it's that crime is the only thing that works. And if you like what you've been hearing so far, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, because we're about to go even deeper, and trust me, you don't want to miss what comes next. Now, let's talk about Michael, because this is where the film gets really dark. At the beginning, Michael is the good son. He's a war hero. He's dating a nice Protestant girl. He stayed out of the family business. He literally tells Kay, "That's my family, not me." But then his father gets shot, and Michael, step by step, becomes exactly what he said he'd never be. He murders Salazzo and McCluskey. He goes to Sicily. He comes back and takes over the family. And by the end, he's ordering the baptism massacre. He's having Carlos strangled, and he's lying to Kay's face. Here's what's dark about it. The film never shows this as a tragedy. Michael doesn't lose. He wins. He becomes the most powerful man in the room. That final scene where the door closes on Kay, that's not showing us a broken man. That's showing us a king. Think about this for a second. By the time you're watching that baptism sequence, you're actively hoping Michael's plan works. You want Barzini dead. You want Tattaglia dead. You want all these people murdered. Why? Because the film has spent 3 hours making you see the world through Corleone's eyes. Sonny is not only a hothead who beats his brother-in-law, he is a passionate older brother protecting his family. Vito isn't just a crime lord who made his fortune through violence, he's the wise patriarch who takes care of his community. Michael isn't a cold-blooded killer, he's a son avenging his father. The Godfather does something incredibly dark. It makes you complicit. It makes you want these murders to happen. And the way it does this is brilliant and terrifying. It never shows the victims of the Corleone family business. We never see the people destroyed by their loan sharking, their gambling rackets, their protection schemes. We only see the family. So when someone threatens the family, we feel threatened. When someone hurts the Corleones, we want revenge. The film has turned us into gangsters without us even realizing it. That's darker than any amount of blood on screen. Look at every marriage in this film. Every single one. Connie marries Carlo, and he beats her, cheats on her, and uses her to set up her own brother to be killed. Sonny's married, but he's having an affair with Lucy Mancini at his sister's wedding. Michael promises Kay he'll legitimize the family business in 5 years, but we know that that's a lie. Even his marriage to Apollonia ends with her being blown up in a car meant for him. The film that's supposedly about family values shows us that family is just another tool for power. Connie's wedding isn't a celebration, it's a business meeting. Michael uses his nephew's baptism as cover for mass murder. The most sacred institutions, marriage and baptism, are just fronts for violence. And here's what's really dark. The film treats this as normal, as just how things work. There's no moral judgment. When Vito tells Michael that he never wanted this for him, it's not about the violence or the crime. It's about the danger. He wanted Michael to be Senator Corleone, Governor Corleone, not legitimate, just powerful in a different way. Let's talk about the most famous scene in the film. Michael standing in a church, becoming godfather to his nephew. He asked, "Do you renounce Satan?" And he says, "I do renounce him." Meanwhile, his men are out there murdering 5 people on his orders. This scene is often called brilliant, and it is, but it's also showing us something incredibly dark. Michael isn't just a hypocrite. He's performing a sacred ritual while ordering executions. He's literally rejecting Satan while acting as Satan. The cross-cutting between the baptism and the murders isn't just good filmmaking. It shows us the complete destruction of any moral order. And the thing is, it works. Michael's plan succeeds perfectly. There are no consequences. God doesn't strike him down. The church doesn't reject him. He walks out of there more powerful than ever. The film is telling us that there is no divine justice. There's only human power. Count the murders in The Godfather. Luca Brasi, strangled. Paulie Gatto, shot in the head. Bruno Tattaglia, killed off screen. Salazzo and McCluskey, shot by Michael. Apollonia, car bomb. Sonny, machine gun at a toll booth. The 5 families, all killed in the baptism massacre. Carlo garroted in a car. Every single problem in this film is solved with violence. Every single one. Negotiation fails. The law fails. Peace agreements are just temporary pauses before the next war. The only thing that actually works is murder. And the film never questions this. It presents violence as simply the way the world operates. When Vito tells Bonacera, "Someday, and that day may never come, I'll call upon you to do a service for me." We know what that means. We know Bonacera will have to hide bodies, prepare corpses, and cover up murders. And we're fine with it. That's how dark The Godfather is. It normalized a worldview where violence is just business, where murder is just problem solving, where the only question isn't, should we kill this person, but how do we get away with it? That final scene, Kay asks Michael if he ordered Carlo's death. He looks at her and says, "No." And we watch his men come in, kiss his hand, and call him Don Corleone. The door closes on Kay's face. She's shut out. She'll never know the truth. She'll live in the lie. But what makes this ending so dark is that Michael has become exactly what his father was. The cycle continues. Nothing changes. Nothing gets better. Power just transfers from one generation to the next, and it will keep going. Michael's nephew, whom he just became godfather to, will grow up in this darkness, and Michael's own son, Anthony, will inherit this same world. The Godfather does not only end with redemption or justice or hope, it also ends with the promise that this will go on forever, that the corruption and violence and lies are permanent, that this is just how the world works. That's the darkest thing about it, because when you walk away from The Godfather, you don't feel bad for rooting for the Corleones. You feel satisfied. You feel like justice was served, like the good guys won. And that's exactly the darkness the film wants you to feel. It makes you feel like the criminals are the heroes, that murder is justice, that power is all that matters. The Godfather is not just darker than you think, it's darker than it lets you realize while you're watching it. And that's what makes it a masterpiece, and what makes it terrifying. So if this video made you see The Godfather in a new way, hit that like button and subscribe, because there's a lot more darkness hiding in your favorite films, and we're just getting started. See you next time.